Is this the new bottle of the year? We'll find out. This is a wheat whiskey from Penelope. So this is the Founders Reserve. You had to go into a raffle to win this guy, and he was $200. It is a absolute spectacular looking bottle. That P's all embossed. It's frickin' comes in a box. It's gold leafed. Best looking bottle of the year. Is it the best tasting bottle of the year? This is a big, I think it's a big deal for Penelope, a big deal for MGP. Let's see if it's any good.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
So MGP, or Midwest Grain Products, or Ross Squibb Distillery, they are a humongous distillery based in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and they make a lot of the products that you see on the shelf. So a lot of the things you see on the shelf are actually distilled by Ross Squibb and rebranded, and Penelope was one of those brands. Now, back in May 2023, MGP purchased Penelope Bourbon for $105 million. So basically, they brought them in-house, which should technically allow them to get the cream of the crop of MGP stuff. So MGP has Penelope, they have the Remus line of stuff, but you know, it used to be a bad thing to not make your own whiskey, but MGP makes some of the most classic, legendary stuff out there. So I'm pretty excited about this one. This is an 11-year straight wheat whiskey. Now, I don't understand why they wouldn't do a bourbon, because this has got to be their flagship. Like, the bottle is amazing. It's all embossed. It looks beautiful. It comes in that box. It's all gold leaf. Now, one thing Penelope has always been good at is marketing. So, and you know what I normally say about a good looking bottle, beware, but this isn't just good looking, this is classy. Now, what's not classy is my wobbly little turntable there wobbling around, but yeah, so this bottle was only available to win through a lottery. So I signed up for the lottery, and me and John both won the option to buy it. You had to go back to Lux Row there in Bardstown and pick it up between now and December. So yeah, we went and picked it up. There was a huge line on the first day, which we were going to be there, but we went the second day and just walked on in. It was getting a bit wobbly going. What's going on here? But yeah, so we'll try this thing out here. I've got to think it's got to be amazing, right? Like, why would they put out something? Because instantaneously people thought wheated bourbon, like Pappy's and Weller. And it's like, no, it's a 95% wheat whiskey. And I don't even know if I've ever had a 95% wheat whiskey before. I've got a wheat whiskey, but it's Bernheim, and that is Bernheim barrel proof, but that's 51% wheat. So this is a very strange decision that they made to bring this bottle out. And the only reason I could say, and it says there on the thing, they found these 47 barrels or whatever, and they were so good that they thought they would release it in, and they batched them. So this is lot B, which was the highest proof of the 4 lots. I did actually want the lot D, which was a lower proof but had a much lower yield. This one is one of 770 bottles, where batch D was only had about 300 odd bottles. So yeah, big call by MGP to go with a completely sort of different mash bill. I tried to look up a 95.5 wheat barley mash bill, and MGP does sell it, I think, to Backbone, and they've made a bottle out of it. I don't think of this age. So with all that being said, with the bad, you know, it's not bourbon, so people instantly were like, well, should I go pick it up? So if you have won this, I'm hoping that you'll watch this video and I can give you some insight on whether you need to make the trip to go buy this, because this is always $219 plus tax, so it is not cheap. You have to go and pick it up from Lux Row. So yeah, hopefully you watch this video and take my input with a grain of salt. because, yeah, so here we are opening it, popping this guy. I haven't been able to find any other reviews on this, so this one isn't going to come out first because I just dropped my Kroger video, which was a cluster. But yeah, even the cork, it's weighted, it's really nice. It is a synthetic one, which I do quite like, but it has the P in there. Yeah, there we go. So the color is pretty nice, not overly dark, but definitely not light. The pour and the viscosity looked pretty good. The legs hung on the glass quite nicely, but not didn't look overly thick. The smell on the nose was a little bit strange. Like it's a wheat whiskey. I don't know what it's supposed to smell like, but I got a real hit of ethanol, and I don't know. It's definite sweetness, but also a definite hit of ethanol, and I think mostly because there wasn't much else to the nose. So yeah, I would say the nose came off as this like white sugar, a really white refined sugar to almost like a fake sugar, like saccharin or something, but not overly bad, but just very, very sweet. And then I got an ethanol hit just because there wasn't much else to sort of hide it. So yeah, now I'm going to try it, have a bit of a smell, a bit of a taste, and see where this is going at, having no reference on what a good or bad 95.5 wheat whiskey should even taste. So I'm going to try, okay, intermission here. Now, because most people do not watch till the end, I've put this in at the start, and also I lost the footage, so double whammy, and we get to check out these dancing girls. But anyway, so me and JK Services are going to do a Christmas giveaway. So up on the screen right now will be the link you need to go to. Follow that link, and link in the description below. Basically, go to JK Services, and that will take you to a link back to my Google Forms, and sign up. So my members will get their normal extra allotments, and any $5 extra spend at JK Services will get you one extra ticket. And I'll tell you what, if you know anything about me and James, we're pretty generous with our giveaways, and we're going to do a mega sample pack. A mega sample pack times 2, maybe even times 3, a little bit TBD, but it's going to be worth your while. So anyway, follow the link, sign up, and win something. And it's a bit unusual, so I might need some help. So I'm going to call in some help from outside, and through the magic of technology, he shall appear. Whoa, James Roy, come out of nowhere.
Yeah, buddy,
Nice
with my
hat.
house bourbon.
Nice house bourbon hat.
So before we get ready, Dave,
Yep.
I got you a house bourbon hat.
So today I've teleported James over so he can help me decide what I think about this Penelope Founders Reserve wheat whiskey. Now, Penelope, purchased by MGP a few years ago. Penelope has always got their stuff from MGP, but now MGP owns them, or Ross and Squibb. And this is fantastic, like you've seen in the videos and I've mentioned previously. It's probably one of the coolest box things that I have seen in a long time, if ever. So I think they need to knock this out of the park, because I don't know why they would select a wheat whiskey, 95.5 wheat whiskey, unless it was really good. Because instantly people are like, it's not bourbon.
Well, I mean, they have to come up with something new because they have so many different offerings, and they're all really good. They're all really good offerings, so, what do? You break the mold.
Yeah, I just think it's such a risk on your flag. This has got to be considered their flagship, their ultimate, their BTAC, because it's expensive, it's very limited. So basically they had 4 different batches. I don't know what happened to A, but they had batch B, C, D, and E. B, C, D, E, and F, I think. So B is the one I got. It's the highest proof one. I really wanted to get the D batch because it was the smallest yield. And then C was in the middle, and then the other 2 were...
So do you think it'll be the American Light Whiskey?
That's just it.
Or should American Light Whiskey be their flagship?
Oh, this is by far more their... American Light Whiskey is in the same bottle It's printed peas and stuff. This pea, like in the video show, it's embossed. The glass.
I don't know, but I'm talking like, okay, so, Pappy. You look at the Pappy lineup versus Antique 107.
Right.
Like the Pappy 10 year. Pappy 10 year is just like the best Antique 107 I've ever had.
Yeah.
And so,
well,
why not, instead of trying to break the mold and go into a wheat, just take your American light whiskey and make it like the best.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why not take their bourbon?
I'm hoping that this knocks it out.
Yeah.
Because I really like Penelope, but it's.
Well, and then there's a lot of distilleries or things or bottles on the shelf today that are legendary in their MGP because but MGP had some really old age stuff when the bourbon craze happened, and then all these other companies purchased their stuff and used it, and it is now of legend.
Yeah.
So now they own their own brand. They need to bring that legendary stuff out, and I'm sure they've still got it. Some bourbon, some 16, 18-year-old bourbon sitting in somewhere.
Well, you look at King's. King's there for a long time had the 17-year. It was the craze.
17-year light whiskey. Like, even they didn't come out with the American light whiskey is only a 15-year. Like, did they use it all? Like, and that's the other thing you got to understand. MGP, they make almost more distillate than anything. I think I'll put up some numbers. Cut, facts, but
the numbers.
But yeah, it's like millions of barrels of fucking a year they can produce, and so they're sitting on all this stock, you would think. And I just think it's funny that they didn't come out with a bourbon or a rye, and they're ryes. They're 95.5 ryes. They're known. MGP 95.5 ryes are some of the best ryes out there.
Which ryes does Penelope have?
None. So why would they release wheat 95.5 wheat that nobody's ever heard of? Because even in our group, everyone heard wheat whiskey and thought in their brain wheat bourbon, like most people did. And I'm like, no.
Like I did. I mean, I brought this because it's like, okay, we need to try some wheated stuff. I'm thinking wheated bourbon, but wheated whiskey, I've never seen it.
I was like, what can we do to compare it? I've got a Bernheim, but even a Bernheim is 51% wheat, not 95. So, and even on the nose, that smells strange, and I don't know. I've got nothing.
You can definitely get the wheat off of it.
Massive wheat, but I find that there's not. I also get a fairly decent ethanol hit.
See, I don't really pick up on the ethanol as much as I do on some of the other pours in the same proof range.
Yeah, this is 100. This is the highest proof one of their batches, 118.6, I think.
Yeah.
118.4. And I don't know.
To me, it's soft on the nose.
It is soft on the nose. That's what I think I'm getting at. It's like there's nothing really much there except for a bit of a ethanol and sweetness.
But it's not like some of the other wheats where it's like, it reminds me of wheat bread.
No.
So it's not that kind of wheat.
No.
It's very unique.
That's a very unique.
I mean, it's pleasant.
It is pleasant. It's a very, like I say, I think you mentioned before, it's sort of like a super sweet, it's a sweetness, it's maybe even but it's not honey, it's not caramel, it's not, almost not even sugar. Do you get any sort of fruits on it? I get
no. So you may not know, but the sweetness is kind of like Sweet and Low.
Yeah.
The artificial sweetener.
Not overly in a bad way, but yeah, you're getting a sweetness without any extra.
But the corn is usually what provides the sweet.
Yeah. And it's just weird.
So it's unique.
Color on it is not overly dark, but it's just.
I would expect darker for, what is that, 15?
11.
11.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 11. That's right on.
All right, well, bottoms up. Let's see what the thing's got to go.
Definitely wheat forward.
Yeah.
Heavy wheat forward.
Yeah. And I don't.
Okay, I feel some heat.
Yeah, the heat builds from the bottom, which is quite nice, but it isn't. It's not bad, but it's not. I don't get any. I suppose it might just me, but there's no oak. I don't really get any oakiness to it.
No, zero.
And I don't really get any. So you don't get any of the dark fruits. You might get like a real light fruit. It's not like a.
Yeah, I'm not getting any of the fruit notes.
Nah.
No cherry, no apricot, nothing like that.
I was thinking maybe is it an apricot or something like really. I'm trying to think what fruit is like white, because it sort of
It's
tastes
almost like raisin.
Yeah, you reckon? I don't find it that dark. I find it like something white, like almost like a white grape or a white, but it's not grape. Mouth feels a bit meh.
Yeah, it's very thin. So is this supposed to be whiskey of the year? Or is that their ambitions?
I would hope so. I would have hoped this to be. I was sort of thinking because it's MGP, they make 2 billion trillion barrels a year. They come out with this level of quality of marketing that they knocked it out of the park and blew our socks off.
So this does not blow my socks off.
No.
This is far from it. This is far from what I would expect. If I had that bottle, an American light whiskey in a Valencia and the Rosé and all these other lineups that I love from Penelope, I would choose those.
Well, let's just have a quick, because they're both.
It's got the uniqueness to it that people are gonna love.
Yeah. So this is Penelope,
but
American light whiskey. Like, and look at it. It's a beautiful. I thought the Penelope's always had beautiful bottles, but this, like,
yeah.
And I'm always the guy that says, beware of gimmicky bottles. But this is not gimmicky. This bottle just reeks class. Like,
yeah.
They're just a fucking nice looking
But
package.
then again, they're breaking the mold. So it's something that we haven't had before.
Yeah.
I mean, this is new territory. And you know what they say, expectations just lead to disappointment. So I think we expected something like a Maker's Mark or a cellar aged or something along the lines of the old MGP lineup.
Yeah.
This is all new territory.
But see,
so I'm not going to say it's bad.
No.
It's definitely not bad. It is good. But is it whiskey of the year? No. Not for everything that's been released this year.
But see, Penelope light whiskey, I mean, this American light whiskey, this was new to me too. Like, I slept on this. I didn't worry about
I tried
it.
to offer it multiple times when you come over to the house.
I'm not drinking light.
Yeah,
I'm not drinking light fucking anything.
Like, it would always be sitting there and be like, hey, Dave, try that. No, I'm good.
But the nose on this is just so much better.
I love when I can find those bottles around the area, just sitting on the shelf.
And God, like this Penelope is freaking unique. I think if you want it for $200, go and get it. It's worth the box and the bottle.
It's one of those things everyone else is going to try to duplicate it. And it's going to take time for someone to hit this out of the park but then again, our expectations are completely off from what it really is.
Yeah.
Our expectations are it's a wheated bourbon and it's not, it's a wheated whiskey.
Yeah,
it's just
good on you, Penelope, for giving it a go. I would say, yeah, if you've won it and you're local, go grab it.
Oh, absolutely.
But shit, can you imagine how many people have signed up for that lottery and live in Chicago or Detroit? Like, I drove from Knoxville to get it, and I think that's acceptable, but I don't know how much further than that I would go.
See, that American light whiskey is just absolutely phenomenal.
It really is.
It's just amazing.
So I can definitely say that for me, the American light whiskey is better than the Penelope.
As a daily drinker, you know, something I can pour without remorse. You know, the American light whiskey, hands down, it's great. You know, it's perfect on the proof. It's perfect on the taste. The Penelope is good.
But Penelope,
well, the
Founders.
I'd like to see how it pairs with something though. So you know, a lot of alcohols are bad by themselves.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those ones that is light. It is, like I say, I don't think we're saying it's
Would
bad.
I drink it in a flight? No. But would I pair it with a cigar?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because wheat goes great with cigars. Would I pair it with a good meal? Yeah. I think it would go really well with a good slab of steak.
Yeah, no, I think there's...
Wheated bourbons, and I don't imagine the wheated whiskey as well, go great with steak.
And like I say, there was a bunch of different batches. I really wanted the D batch, which was the lowest yield, but that was the only... And the funny thing is, people lined up. The bourbon community is hilarious. We will line up even if it's not... Like, people had won this. They'd won it. It was yours. And out of, say, I don't know, so this bottle is so good, it even has it, like, there was 700 of this batch, 300. So let's say there's 3,000 or 4,000 bottles. It was won in a lottery nationwide. How many? There's not going to be that many people on day one picking it up. Now, the distiller was there, or the blender or whatever, and he was there and he could sign it. But I don't know. People were lining up like we do, 3 o'clock in the morning, it seems. It took them hours
Is this the one that you just went to?
Yeah. Well, no.
You were like, hey, we're going to leave. Do you want to go? And
No, well, we were just going to drive up on Friday,
Okay.
but we weren't going to go early. And we showed up Saturday and just walked in. There was nobody there. We just showed in, walked in, took it, left. Where people, if they'd gone Friday, they lined up early, took hours to get through it. And the only bottle that I couldn't get was the D one. So yeah, okay, maybe if I'd gone Friday, I could have got D, but also maybe not, because there was only... there's 700 of this, so I think there might have been 300 bottles of the D batch, so fairly low yield, so I might not even have got it anyway.
you can do a close-up of the inside information.
Yeah, I got like spinny shit going on, B-roll.
Let's pause. Dave, insert the close-up of the inside of the bottle here.
Yeah, that's super nice.
And clip all this out.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's just strange that people just line up for fucking nothing. But we've talked about that before. So there is our review of Penelope's Founders Reserve. Like I say, a little bit of a letdown, just because I was hoping it would be so much more. But it is unique. It is something a little bit different. And if you're on that level of your bourbon journey and you just want to try something else, maybe this might be in your warehouse. Might open up a little bit better. Just seemed to be a little bit one note and a little bit not complex, I suppose. But considering it's just mostly wheat, I can see that could be a thing. But anyway, not bad, just not as good as I'd hoped it to be. So anyway, thanks for watching, and go fill out for our Christmas giveaway. Thanks.